The Adventures of the Bystander, a reminiscence of the times you should not miss. Reading Peter Drucker's Adventures of a Bystander is like going on a journey through time, walking with this management guru in Europe in the 20th century and feeling the pulse of the times. This book is not only a personal memoir, but also a social picture full of humanistic care. Drucker, with his unique perspective, captures those neglected individuals in the torrent of history and shows the brilliance and fragility of human nature. Drucker modestly calls himself a bystander, but his bystander is not a cold-eyed observation, but a deep sympathy and care. The characters he writes about, whether they are prominent politicians, economists, or ordinary citizens and workers, are full of vivid vitality. He did not simplify them into historical symbols, but deeply explored their inner world and revealed their struggles and choices in the changing times. This respect and understanding for individuals is the embodiment of humanistic care. In the book, Drucker's description of European society in the early 20th century is full of details and warmth. He recalled the Vienna of his childhood, a city full of artistic atmosphere and cultural collision, and also recorded the trauma and changes brought to Europe by the two world wars. He did not stop at the grand historical narrative, but cast his eyes on those ordinary people who lost their homes and loved ones in the war. Their stories may be insignificant, but they constitute the flesh and blood of history. Drucker's attention to intellectuals also reflects his humanistic care. He recorded the thoughts and actions of many intellectuals of his generation, some of whom paid a huge price in pursuit of truth and justice. Drucker's admiration for them is beyond words. He believes that intellectuals are the conscience of society and their responsibility is to point the way for the future of mankind. In Drucker's view, humanistic care is not only an emotion, but also an action. He believes that managers should have the quality of humanistic care, they should respect the value of employees, pay attention to the growth of employees, and create a good working environment for employees. He believes that only when managers really care about employees can they stimulate the potential of employees and achieve the success of the organization. The Adventures of the Bystander is a book full of wisdom and touching. Drucker, with his keen insight, shows us a complex and multifaceted 20th century. His humanistic care, like a beacon, illuminates the corners of history and also illuminates our way forward. This book reminds us that no matter how the times change, respect and care for people will always be our most precious wealth. Through reading this book, I deeply realized that history is not just what happened in the past, it also affects our present and future. We should draw wisdom from history, learn Drucker's humanistic care spirit, and use our actions to work hard to create a better world. In summary, Peter Drucker's The Adventures of a Bystander shows his deep humanistic care through a vivid depiction of history and a deep insight into human nature. This book is not only a personal memoir, but also a delicate and compassionate picture of 20th century society. It reminds us that while paying attention to the grand historical narrative, we should not ignore the individuals who make up the flesh and blood of history, as well as the struggles and choices they have experienced.